Okay, go ahead.
All right. Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs. I am so happy to have Nick Sordoni, who is one of the owners of the Brooklyn Dumpling Shop in Philadelphia, join us for the show. Nick, thank you for joining us, and welcome to our listeners and to Food Farms and Chefs.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So obviously this is one of the franchises and it started in New York, which oddly enough, it wasn't started in Brooklyn. But before we jump into that, let our listeners know who you are and what got you started in the culinary industry.
Sure. So like you said, my name is Nick Sordoni. I've always been interested in food as long as also my partners Alex and Steve are. And how we got involved in this is during the pandemic, just kind of doing some research and looking around for any kind of business opportunity. We try to look for new and interesting ideas. We kind of stumbled across this concept and it looked really interesting to us, kind of a technology forward, contactless food delivery company. And we just started going down the road, talking to franchisees, talking to the leadership team. And it was kind of one step at a time and we really got interested in it. And here we are.
And yeah, here you are. Yes. And, you guys offer something that is based out of Philadelphia. It's an automat system, which
Yes.
I don't know if you want to tell our listeners what that is.
Sure.
And the history related to Philadelphia.
Sure. Yeah. Well, as you may know, the first automat in the U.S. was in Philadelphia, the Horn and Hardart Company, and it was incredibly popular everywhere that they were. There was a commissary food system. Thousands of meals were prepared off-site and delivered to these individual locations where you would drop in a quarter or a dime and turn a key, and a door would open with any kind of food you could imagine: hot meals, cold desserts, cups of coffee, everything. It was a great and fast way that people like to eat lunch and dinner, and it was a kind of a destination, kind of a novel concept. And what we think happened to that was technology kind of failed the automat. As prices went up for food costs, the mechanisms to feed dollars in didn't really work. It worked when it was a quarter or a nickel or something like that, but they didn't have the technology to feed dollar bills in or take credit cards or anything like that. So it just kind of petered out. They didn't know how to bridge that gap between the cost of the food and the means to pay for it. So it kind of disappeared for a long time. And what our founders discovered was, the kind of modern and tech forward approach. So you order through a kiosk or on your phone, like you would do at Wawa or Sheetz or anything like that. And then you can pay for it at the kiosk with your credit card. It gives you a receipt with a barcode on it. And when your order's ready, it'll prompt you on the board or send you a text message to your phone. You take your receipt or your phone up to the automat, which is a big, 4x5 cut locker columns, and you scan it at the little reading eye, and your door automatically opens. We have hot and cold lockers, and you collect your food and you're on your way. And you can spend less than 20 seconds in the store if you need to. It's really fast and also contactless, which, again, as we came to this during the pandemic, we found that was a really popular option for people.
Yeah. And it's definitely something where it's, easier for grab and go concepts. And I've seen documentaries and I've seen like little throwback videos every so often. I'm obviously not old enough to have experienced the original automat system. You are not either. But it's a very cool concept because it was big, large, doors that would open up. So, you would go in and drop the quarter in, but it's kind of like the back in the day version of like what a vending machine ended up being. And now, fast forward, we have technology at our fingertips, quite literally at our fingertips, where we can order food online, such as your own place, the Brooklyn Dumpling Shop, and order whatever it is that we're desiring, and then go and pick it up with the QR code reader, obviously.
Yes.
So it's a very cool concept that you guys are bringing in. Now I know that you have a definitive location right now. Are you like, because with plans of expanding, are you expanding into other areas?
Yes, certainly we have plans to. So we actually have 3 leases in Philadelphia. The first one is on South Street, 308 South Street. That'll be the first location. We're hoping to get that open in October. The second location is going to be on the campus of Drexel on Lancaster Avenue, which we think is going to be huge. College students seem to really respond to this. And the third one is going to be right downtown on 15th and Sansom Street in Philadelphia.
Which is
And our
really
plans, yeah, and our plans to expand. So we actually have the area rep deals for the state of Pennsylvania.
oh wow.
So yeah, so in the next 8 years, we plan to open at least 35 of these across the state. You know, we're getting our first stores up and running, so we have proof of concept for people, kind of a pitch to give people, you know, sub franchisees that are going to want to open across the state, as well as larger locations, the South Street one, namely, that we can use as training locations
Yeah.
for from other locations to come in and figure out how to run. Yeah.
Which is very, very cool and very interesting, especially like when you're going into like the college and university areas, because I would be curious to find out if you would, you know, extend your open hours based on the location, because you have a lot of students that are in that small condensed area who are, you know, going to be up at all hours of the night. So I know that there's a couple of eateries in that area that extend their hours. One of them, I think, stays open until 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know necessarily if you'll have that, because you do have staff that's back there making these items.
Yes.
But I'm wondering if you'd expand the hours for those locations.
Certainly, that is our plan. The flagship store in Manhattan on the Lower East Side runs on the weekends 24 hours. Yeah, so unfortunately at our Drexel location, our limit is 2 a.m., but our plan is at least on the weekends to run till 2 a.m.
Okay.
And give, you know, students the option and open up early. And also we have breakfast options. And so we, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword. We have on your way to class, you don't really have to break stride and you can get a really delicious hot breakfast. And, you know, after the bars, late at night on your way back, you can get some delicious stuff that's going to be prepared fresh and kept hot in the locker until you come and get it.
Yeah. And I want to say the other cool thing about this is it's like, aside from the fact that it's very easy, like grab and go stuff, if you are on the run, it's something that's not super messy because it's self-contained.
Yeah, we love that part of it too. So let me also say that, you know, I said that this is a technology forward company, but we wouldn't be involved in it if the food wasn't great.
Yeah.
We love it. Our founder came up with this concept in part because he was having trouble getting his children to eat their vegetables and different kinds of foods. But if he put it in a dumpling skin and steamed it or pan fried it or whatever, he was able to do it. So he came up with a bunch of different recipes. You know, we have cheesesteak, we have Korean barbecue beef, we have mac and cheese dumplings, we have, you know, traditional pot sticker flavors. But, you know, the core of our kind of pitch is that this is like a 2-ounce deli sandwich, you know, Rueben, and, you know, we can keep expanding and coming up with new recipes. And like you said, you can, you know, hold it in your hand and it's, you know, it's not messy.
Yeah. For me, like every time I eat, like, not that anybody knows this, because I don't think I've ever divulged this on camera before, but or on the radio. I am like accident prone. Like, you know, I'll drive around and I have extra clothes in my car for the specific reason that whenever I eat it, the food goes on my shirt or
Yeah.
down my shirt. So I'm always like changing clothes because of that. So for me, it's like the fact that it's so self-contained and like it eliminates the risk for you know, it becoming like a messy thing.
Yeah.
And not to say that, you know, it doesn't have like that oozy cheese for the Philadelphia cheesesteak, or I'm sure the Rueben has, you know, the that nice like balance of the cheese and with the juices of the meat and the dressing, which is iconically like a Rueben.
Sure.
I'm sure that there's some level of like, it could It could and probably will because I'm eating it. Get on my shirt. But you know, you do have some very desirable dumplings that's on your menu.
Yeah, we agree. Yeah. The
So
development part of this concept is really cool. You know, from the flavor to the delivery system to that, like you said, it's a good walking snack.
yeah. And well, I mean, it's not just a snack. Like, yes, you can use it as a snack,
Yes.
but you have so many options. Like, obviously, you can go with friend. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm taking over your part of this,
Oh, not at all.
but you can go with friends and order a whole, eclectic collection of options and try all those different things.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know, it's good to go with a bunch of friends because it's, you know, and mix and match and you try the different flavors. You know, we also offer a selection of bowls with a rice base, a lettuce base, or even now we're moving into a French fry base. We have really good kung pao seasoned waffle fries.
Okay.
So that can be a base for a bowl, and then you can get, you know, chicken bites on top of that or dumpling bites on top of that. You know, the fries, they have a signature peanut sauce that is really, really good on the fries and is just a great meal. Or, you know, or like we said, the rice base with any flavor of kind of chicken bites on top of it with a little coleslaw, and it's a really nice meal. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I throw in I like can you make a like crispy fries with kimchi and like spicy something or other?
We are, yes. I love kimchi. It's one of my favorite things. And we are always throwing out new ideas as we're, you know, ramping up with the number of stores and kind of getting our menu set. Right now, we're kind of set. We don't have a kimchi option right now, but we also, each store has, you know, the opportunity to do a limited time offer and make their own set of dumplings if we want to. And we're going to certainly play with favors. We've also been discussing in Philadelphia a roast pork sandwich,
Mm.
which is popular here, a little provolone and broccoli rabe inside of a dumpling. We think that would be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
kimchi, the peanut fries with kimchi would be very, very good. I'll take that.
I'm
I'm going
you
to
can
steal that from you.
you can like you could be like Food Farms and Chefs kimchi fries.
Great.
But okay, so what are some of your like based out of the flagship location, what are some of the more popular food items?
People really love the mac and cheese dumplings. They really love other franchisees that we have open in Texas and in Long Island and places like that. The mac and cheese, the cheesesteak is really popular. And my favorite is the Korean beef. It's fantastic. It's real short rib beef with this really delicious sauce and, you know, chunks of red pepper in there. That's my personal favorite, but I would say those three are the main ones, and as well as the kung pao fries with peanut sauce.
Mm.
Who tries those are great, as well as the dessert dumplings are very, very popular. Apple pie is my favorite, and we also have chocolate cake
Oh, nice.
and peanut butter and jelly, which is, yeah, knock
Yeah,
yourself.
that's always a popular one. And no matter what age you are, peanut butter and jelly, as long as you don't have food allergies, is 100% going to be like on top, something somebody's going to order.
Yes.
So given all of the different franchises that you like and the locations that you're going to open, do you have any events planned or any grand openings planned ahead of schedule?
For our locations, we don't really have any events planned with our grand opening and our soft openings. We actually don't. We're hoping for middle of October to get going. It kind of is a moving target, so we don't have an immediate grand opening plan. But we certainly have been working. The South Street community in Philadelphia is very robust. The arts community and the restaurants down there, and all the shop owners on South Street really come together and promote each other. So beyond that, we don't have a solid anything really exciting to share, but I think maybe down the road we will. I don't think we can talk about it right now, but we'll certainly keep you guys in the loop.
I would love to know because I 100%, if I'm able to make it, I would love to make it. Or even if I could help cross promote it, that would be wonderful too.
Wonderful.
Because
Yeah. Well, when we have a date, we will let you know, and we hope that you'll come and join us.
I would love to do that, and I would love our listeners to join you, in celebration too. So in the last few moments that we have with you, what's some of the things that we could look forward to? Like, do you have plans, or is there an availability of doing that grab and go of any of the wines that or whatnot to take?
Sure. So on our locations right now, we're not pursuing beer and wine liquor licenses. That might come come later down the road, but we will be offering the virgin frosé packages. So we're
Ooh.
going to be making the lychee and the rosé frosé pouches. We'll have those in the store.
Mhm.
And they're in little resealable pouches, and we're not going to be able to sell wine right when we open.
Mhm.
We might pursue that, but I will say, if you wanted to add your favorite adult beverage to one of these frosés to give it a little kick, that's not, that
Unheard of.
that's all, that's completely up to you.
This is true. And
Yeah.
given obviously since it's a grab and go, do you have any kind of seating or any street side benches that people can eat at, or a park
Um,
nearby?
we in South Street, you can kind of find a place to sit any number of places. We do have indoor seating, especially at South Street. We have a second floor that will just be for seating, and we're also gonna look into maybe hosting events, kids parties. You can rent it out, whatever you want to do up there. At Drexel, there's tons of outdoor spaces that you can walk across the street and sit and eat, but we also have seating at all the locations.
Oh, thank
And
you. Thank you for letting us know. So also with, obviously, running a business and keeping everything trendy and fresh, are you going to be offering specials on any kind of regular basis?
um, yeah, like I said, we're looking into any number of limited time offers to correspond with sporting events. Um, we will run specials. We're going to have, certainly around the opening periods, we're going to be playing games with people in line and handing out kind of gift cards to that kind of stuff. We're also really we have the ability to cater, so to make larger dumpling pot and get in, with the office managers around the city. And this is, like you said, a great office food, like a great catered food pass around option for a party or anything like that. So, yeah, I would say come out to see our openings when we have those dates. We'll make sure to let everybody know and come out, and there will be plenty of opportunities.
All right. I'm very excited for you and very excited to try it and be there when you guys have those openings. But for all of our listeners out there, where can they find more information about you and about the Brooklyn Dumpling Shop?
Sure, you can go to brooklyndumpling.com. That'll list locations and kind of give you an overview of the concept, and you can look at all the pictures. We are on all the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Brooklyn Dumpling Shop PHL. Yeah, that's the best way to get in touch with us. As we ramp up, you'll see more activity coming out of those accounts. But for now, probably brooklyndumpling.com is the best place to go.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs, Nick.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great.
All right. And we will be right back after this short break.
Monday.
Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs. And I am so excited to be able to introduce you to Laura Carroll, who is the Director of Sales for Insomnia Cookies. Laura, thank you for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs.
Absolutely. I've become a fan of the show, so I'm excited to be here.
Yay! Well, I'm a huge fan of Insomnia Cookies. And then after researching your history, I'm actually a huge fan of you because you are deeply embedded in the culinary industry, but for a certain very specific reason, which is gluten-free.
Yes.
So let our listeners know a little bit about your history.
Yeah. So in a quick nutshell, I was deployed to Iraq with the Red Cross, 2008, 2009, got real sick, realized that I had a gluten intolerance, which kind of spurred everything else that happened after that. My now husband had entered me into NBC's Next Local TV Chef, sort of like Chopped. Somehow ended up winning the show after 5 weeks, and it brought a book deal and a TV show and pilots and just so many things in the food world. And that's not the direction I was going in life, but fell in love with all of it. Worked in a ton of kitchens, learned a great deal about the food industry. realized pretty quickly that sales is my thing. Food sales is so much fun. I could talk about food all day. So it went from back of the house to an office selling gluten-free bread, then selling online groceries, and now with Insomnia Cookies, selling cookies.
And I want to mention the fact that it's you still have an active blog, which is glutenfreeliving.com.
Guilt-free foodie cutie. I wrote for
okay. Sorry.
Free Living's a magazine. No worries at all.
So it's what was it again?
It's guilt-free-foodie-cutie.com.
That is appropriate for your personality.
Thank you.
So you also are associated with Camp
Celiac.
Yes, .org. I was like, what did I write? Campceliac.org, which is a camp that is run for individuals, for young kids until I think age 16.
Yeah, so we have 8-year-olds till 16. Kids come from all over the world. These are kids that have celiac disease that can't go to the friend's birthday party or the sleepover or to a regular sleepover camp. I've been with the camp now for 11 years, started as the chef and now as a co-director. And it's a lot of work. We work our butts off all year for this 1 week to get these kids something special. And they can come and they don't have to ask questions. There's cookies, there's a pizza party, there's pasta, there's chicken fingers, there's everything a kid dreams of that they can't have when they're gluten-free, all in 1 week. And it's awesome. It's a really special place.
That is awesome. Now, with that, I want to kind of ask if you teach the children, how to make those items, as well as, them just being able to eat at whatever they want, whenever they want.
That's a really good question. So we have decided to take a stance where we don't want to talk about what they can't have at camp. We want them to come and just be normal for 1 week. It's a lot when you can't go to a regular restaurant, you can't go to the movie theater. So no, we don't teach them because we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about what they don't have outside of camp. We just want them to be a camper. Now they take it upon themselves to get all excited when they can steal food off the friend's plate, or they take camp song and they turn it into a gluten-free song, but that's all on them. We don't encourage it. We don't start conversation. We just want them to have fun.
Oh, that is very, very cute. Now I'm going to liaison into Insomnia Cookies.
Sure, let's do it.
Which obviously is very heavy on the gluten, but
we do have a gluten-free cookie. So,
and I was going to get into that. So let's utilize that as, our little liaison into Insomnia cookie. So what is the gluten-free cookie that, people can actually go and enjoy?
Yeah, so we have a chocolate chip gluten-free cookie that is also vegan. So we have a whole vegan line, but our gluten-free cookie is also vegan. So that means it's dairy-free, it's egg-free, and it's gluten-free. And I promise you, it is the best gluten-free cookie I have ever had. And I've had lots of gluten-free cookies at camp. This cookie is really special.
I would trust you because I have never been to an Insomnia cookie without, in across the board of all the products. And I'm not going to spoil it because obviously I'm bringing you on to talk about Insomnia cookie, and the cookie labs. And, but everything I've ever tremendously enjoyed from Insomnia cookie, is very gooey, very soft, very warm, just comforting, that first bite, even just, when you open up the doors and you waft in, the waft of the smells and whatnot, hits you. It's just so sorry. I feel like
no, it's still a hot gooey cookie and you would know no different. It is great.
So, with that, I want to just, bring it back a little bit and ask you, what is the very, very relatable history of Insomnia cookie? How did it become? How was it born?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's a very fun story. Probably one of the reasons that I'm here. So our CEO, Seth, was a student at University of Pennsylvania, super local, and he loved playing video games with his friends. And it was late at night. This was 20 years ago. and they would get hungry. So it was his job to go call pizza, and they'd have pizza delivered, and that's what they would eat. But Seth has a sweet tooth. He's like, I don't want just pizza anymore. I want something sweet. So he started making cookies for his friends. And then they started playing with the idea of like, can we deliver cookies? We can't be the only one that wants a hot cookie in the middle of the night, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So they started this 20 years ago, before food delivery was the thing it is now. And it took off, and that was the start to what it is now.
Yeah. And then I used to, I don't know if it was the flagship, but I used to work at University of Pennsylvania as a hospital assistant in Matthew J. Ryan and the ICU, and overnights. We would work overnights, and I never knew about it. And on one night we were working, and there was one of the nurses that was just like, I have a sweet tooth craving. And so they were like, let's order Insomnia cooking. I'm like, what is that? And they pulled up the menu, and I was like, oh. And that was my the first introduction that I had. And I mean, this is throwback to, I have no idea, probably when you guys first started out. But I was so enamored with everything that came from there. So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about some of the other items?
Sure. So that store that you're talking about at the University of Pennsylvania is our first store. It still exists. It's still like a regular store, so it's open to the public if you can get into that building. So Insomnia cookies, the thought of it is we want to be that nighttime bakery. We're different than other bakeries. We are open till at least 1 a.m., sometimes even later, depending on where the location is. And we want customers to have it your way. So you're going to get a hot cookie delivered to you wherever you're located. And it can be one of our regular cookies. It could be a deluxe cookie that's super big and gooey and has all crazy mix-ins. It could be a limited time release, something that's super seasonal, like peanut butter and jelly cookie that's out right now for back to school. It could be a brownie or a brookie or a blondie, or it could even be ice cream or ice cream on a cookie. Whatever you dream up, you can have delivered directly to you.
Which is amazing. But I want to also do a throw to the fact that you guys can do deliveries of like, I want to send my friends some cookies because it's, their birthday or they're having a bad day or whatever reason. You also offer that as well.
Yeah, totally. So we have 200, as of today, 248 locations nationwide. We can deliver if you're in the area around a bakery, but if you're not, we can ship cookies directly to you, whether it's to your friend that just needs a pick me up, or you're a company and you want to send 100 gifts to all of your employees across the country. We are happy to assist.
Yeah. And I also know that you guys do large, like very large cookies that you can get a face or something written on it.
Cake.
Yes, a cookie cake.
Yeah. The cookie cakes are great. Happy birthday, anything you want. There's different pictures that you can select from the website that go right on top, and we can ship them or we can send them warm depending on where you're located. And it's just a great pick-me-up to somebody's day.
It really is. And I mean, who doesn't get a little bit happy, like even just receiving or seeing baked goods in front of them?
Yes, absolutely.
I want to then switch gears and just go into the fact that you guys have what really is kind of like a dessert lab speakeasy that you guys started.
Yes. So the Insomnia Cookie Lab is in South Philly. It is the one and only, at least right now. It's right across from Pat's and Gino's. And if you walked in, and I know you haven't been there, so I'm going to paint the picture for you. If you walk in, it looks like a regular bakery. And in the back corner, there's a bookshelf. And it's got all kinds of funky stuff on this bookshelf. If you don't know, you could walk in, check out that shelf, and walk out and not think you missed anything. But if you know, and you get the password from Instagram, because it changes all the time, you say the password to the bookshelf, it magically opens, and you walk down this little dark hallway that's lit with our logo along the wall into what is our cookie speakeasy. Make your own cookies, design milkshakes, you name it, whatever you can dream up, that's what we're there to do. And then in that space is another secret space behind a subway tiled wall. There's like a little keypad that you enter, and that opens up to the picture that you're seeing behind me right now, but that's our party space. So it's a speakeasy party space. Really cool for birthday parties, corporate events, all that fun stuff.
It's like a speakeasy within a speakeasy.
Yep, exactly. What a cool way to have a birthday party. And our party people get to design the password. So if it's your kid's party, they get to come to the door and they have to say their friend's name, and then it opens up and they get to go into the party. It's really cool.
That is really cool. And also makes them feel like extra special too. Like, oh, especially if you're a little kid and you're like, I want to feel special. How amazing is it like for you to hand out like a birthday, like party card and invitation, and like in order to get into that place, you not only have to pass through one thing with the password, you have to pass through the second door with the password as well. And if you're a kid, even like, so, your adult side, like it's secretly like, ooh, I get to go somewhere where I'm not, where other people. Yes, exactly. So, let's get into a little bit of the flavors. Like, I know I'm a huge chocolate peanut butter fan. Like, you put chocolate cookie base with like, or like an extra dark chocolate cookie base and throw in some peanut butter. I am a happy person.
Yeah, we have all kinds of crazy flavors, and then you can design it your own. Even cooler is our ice cream line. So we have our own ice cream line that has our cookies uniquely put into the ice cream. So you can get like a nice peanut butter chocolate ice cream. You can get our purple ice cream. That's our galaxy ice cream. All kinds of crazy things. Whatever you dream, we're happy to make that reality.
Do you do any milk cereal ice creams?
Not currently, but
milk cookies.
Things are always changing. We're always having limited time releases on cookie flavors and ice cream flavors.
I know one of the more popular ice cream flavors across the country is mint chocolate chip. Do you have any versions of that?
Yes, we have that in a cookie and in an ice cream, and it's one of our most popular.
It makes sense that it's one of the most popular. I mean, across the country, like everyone loves a cookie, like cookies and cream, or sorry, mint chocolate chip. And then the second is vanilla, and then cookies and cream, which is why I kept saying cookies and cream.
Yeah, cookies and cream is also very popular. We have an ice cream truck as well that we drive around the area, and we do all different types of events, and cookies and cream all the way. Everybody wants it.
Yeah. I was at an event, I want to say like not even 2 months ago, 1 month ago. And you guys were actually there vending and doing giveaways. And like, it was very cool because you walk up to the table and obviously people are always drawn to sweets. I don't know. I really don't know too many people that are not automatically drawn to the sweet table. But you were down at the Barnes.
Oh, you were at the Barnes event. There you go.
Yeah. So you guys were down there and like right next to an espresso maker, like vendor.
Our ice cream for the espresso.
Exactly. And you can grab a cookie from you guys and then have cookies in avocado and dip it.
Yes.
There's lots of. Do you guys offer any ice cream sandwiches?
We do. We do ice cream sandwiches. You can get icing between two cookies, whatever you want. We're going to make it happy. You can put it between brownies or blondies, or you can mix it up and do 2 flavors of cookies.
Do you have anything that's in the works for, because we're entering like a new season soon, very, very soon. And I'm wondering, do you have any kind of events or any kind of specials that people can look forward to with the fall?
Yes. So if you keep an eye on our Instagram, our Facebook, our TikTok, we're always announcing new special things. There is a new very special cookie flavor that's about to get announced. There's a big store opening that's about to get announced. And our PJ party, which is nationwide, where you get to come out at night in your PJs and get all kinds of free stuff. Definitely friend us on everything, like us, and stay up to date with all the fun things that are happening.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And now with the new opening that's happening, are you guys going to have like across the US, are you going to have grand opening celebrations to celebrate the grand opening?
We open a couple stores a month as we quickly are growing. So wherever the store is that's opening, we do a big party. So like they have a grand opening party, and then we celebrate here. We did today for another one at corporate every time we open a new store. But they're growing quickly and they're all over the place.
I'm sure that they are. It's a very popular thing, and can people order online?
Yes, you can always order online. So whether you are local to us and you're going to get a warm cookie delivery in our signature pizza box directly to your house, or maybe you're outside the area where our bakery is, we can ship it directly to you. It's all on the same website. You just go to insomniacookies.com or download our app. You can do it all on there.
which is very, very cool. Now, here's another question. Do you
Sure.
offer any kind of recipes or uses online?
Uses as in like how to repurpose our cookies?
Well, like, do you want to crunch it up and put it in the ice cream, or, there's fun ways you can like
There's different
utilize it.
topping options depending on what you're doing. So like if you're thinking, I want to soup up my brownie, you could take a brownie and then you could say put some icing on top of it, and then you can pick a topping that goes on top of that, or just come to the cookie lab and we're going to go crazy and give you 1,000 options of what you can do.
And with the cookie lab, is that where you actually can get the take-home boxes where you can decorate it yourself?
Yeah, so my favorite thing to talk about at the cookie lab, besides parties, is these DIY craft kits that we do for parties. And if you have like anywhere from like a 4-year-old to a 10-year-old, it's 6 cookies in a box with all the toppings they could dream of, all the coloring stuff they could imagine to decorate all these cookies. They can color in the box because the box itself is colorable and comes with crayons, and then they take it home as their take home. It's like a whole party in a box. It's awesome.
That's very, very cool. And it's such a
Yeah.
cute like thing for kids to be able to like not only experience the cookie lab itself. And I've unfortunately like we're sending kids home high on sugar, but
We are.
so be
Sugar.
prepared for that, parents.
Yes.
But it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun incorporated into like a small package.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I have to get you out to the cookie lab anytime you want. I would love to bring you over there. I don't live far away. It's fun.
I know I've wanted to go ever since it opened up, and I was sent actually the invitation, but I wasn't able to go the day that you guys had the media people there.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so I keep every time I'm like near Pat's and Gino's, I'm always like, oh, I should go in, and I never get around to it. And I feel very remiss for it because I'm like, I not only like is it a fun experience, I'm also like missing out because I have such a sweet tooth. I mean, a major sweet tooth.
It is the best kept secret in Philly for sure.
It really is. Now for people who are looking to visit the lab, and for people who want to also look up more information on yourself and celiac disease and whatnot, like where can they find you online? Where can they find Insomnia Cookie?
Sure. So Insomnia Cookies is easy. InsomniaCookies.com. And then every social network you can imagine. So the Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok. Check it all out. If you want to come visit the cookie lab, the hours are always posted online. We do close for private events often. So just want to check the hours and make sure that we're open so you don't come and get disappointed. And then for me, you can always go to campceliac.org to see anything you want to see about the camp, or guiltfreefoodiecutie.com to see my website or find me on LinkedIn. Always happy to chat with anybody.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs. And I look forward to my visit to the cookie lab, and hopefully you can go with me and we can maybe do some,
I'm going to do that. Name and date.
All right. We will do that. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. And we will be right back after this short break. Hi, and welcome back to Food Farms and Chefs. And I am very happy to introduce you to Bilal, who is the program manager for Food Trust which is a farmer's market in Philadelphia. Bilal, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Another day, another farmer's market.
And that's an appropriate comment considering how many farmers market locations you guys actually have throughout the city or the Philadelphia region.
Mm-hmm. So we run about 10. Well, we run 10 farmers markets with a couple partner farmers markets. You want me to list those or no?
I mean, if it comes out naturally, that's fine. We don't have to like list it, because then I don't want to sound bullet pointed, but like I know that one of the locations is Clark Park.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
So
we run 4 year-round markets. Clark Park being our biggest, Head House being our second biggest, Fairmount, which is on 22nd and Fairmount, and it's on Thursdays, that's a medium size. And now this year we've opened Northern Liberties, which is another year-round market that we plan to be year-round.
Northern Liberties is a very large area. So are you in No Libs like near the Piazza?
So we're not, yes. we are near the piazza, and actually, and I forget the name of the buildings. It's the building next to the piazza, which is called Alta.
Okay.
They're all like weird named buildings. So the piazza is one building, Alta is the next building to the side. It kind of looks like a post construction building that's like postmodern construction building. It's between those two buildings on 2nd and Germantown. So if you were on 2nd Street on your way, like if you're on Girard, make the right onto 2nd Street. On your left-hand side, you'll see the Acme.
Yeah.
And then there's like a cobblestone road, and the market sets up on Saturdays on the cobblestone road, which is technically Germantown.
Which is very cool. Like in that whole area is very like walkable. So it's perfect for a farmer's market, which obviously you're going to be walking around and checking out all the different vendors. And we'll get to that in a second. Because I know you have a multitude of vendors that, you know, contribute to the farmer's market, as any farmer's market would. But what I really want to kind of just stream into is the mission behind the food trust.
Yes. So our big thing is access. We're nutritious and delicious food, access for all. We try to make sure that all our farmers markets, and all our farmers markets do, accept EBT SNAP. On top of that, accepting, there's a different kind of, I don't want to say currency, but you might not be familiar. There's a thing called the FMNP program, which is the Farmers Market Nutrition Program. And what that does is, through the state, they give out a check to seniors and mothers. So if you're a recipient of WIC, and if you qualify as a senior, each year they give them out like a one-time check. In past years, that check has been about anywhere between, I think, 20 to 24. I think before the pandemic, it was only like $15. In the pandemic, it was $20. And then 1 year after the pandemic, whichever year you consider it, was $24. But this year it's $50. And so that's $5 $10 checks that you can use with a farmer, a Pennsylvania farmer, to buy any fresh fruits and vegetables at the farmer's market.
And that's a huge benefit too, like especially with like everything going up in prices, and you know, wanting to be able to consume healthy, nutritious food. You're gonna want to stretch that budget, so that's a huge benefit.
Yeah, no, definitely. And another program, you know, to increase access for folks who are on some of these programs that we run, which is called the Food Bucks program. It used to be called Philly Food Bucks program, but it's actually Food Bucks, because now what happened was it was piloted in Philly for a couple of years, and it was actually supported by the city of Philadelphia. Now we've taken it over through the state. And so now a couple of grocery stores and corner stores also do that program, where for however much money you spend on your EBT card, you're then given a coupon, which is called Philly Food Bucks. At our farmers markets, you're given like a direct coupon. At some other POS systems, you're given like a receipt, kind of like CVS, right?
Yeah.
And so you can use that coupon or receipt on fresh fruits and vegetables back with the farmer or at that participating grocery store.
Yeah, and I'm going to use that as a liaison into the fact that you also offer a program like Healthy Corner Stores, and I'm assuming that that's a participant of the Bucks.
Some of them are, not all of them. They do a variety of things with the Healthy Corner Stores, but the most important is like trying to make sure that the corner stores have some fresh fruits and vegetables, and working with the corner store owners to like teach them the benefits of having fresh fruits and vegetables in a neighborhood. It's hard sometimes to get people onto the program, only because, you know, we're living in this new technological age where trying to get folks to go buy a POS system that they don't necessarily have at the moment. It's kind of been a little bit of the hardship.
Yeah.
getting some folks onto these programs. We as much as possible try to help write grants for them to get some of these POS systems. And it's been working out. And I think, every corner store that we touch, we try to make sure, like, listen, access is our number one goal, and making sure that, it's like, listen, it's best to have fresh fruits and vegetables to promote, healthy eating lifestyles. And, I think a lot of them kind of come over the fence and like, yeah, this is actually a plus, because more people are actually coming to our store or, farmers market to get more of these particular items.
And that's something else that I know, is a big part of the mission of why you guys started, is because you wanted to implement or bring about the availability of those fresh, nutritious vegetable produce, we'll say, because it's vegetables, fruits, and whatnot that you guys offer at these farmers markets. But for individuals who are in, food deserts or in nutritional deserts where they don't have access to as much of the produce and farmers markets that, say, suburbs that would have access to. So I know that was one of the big missions where you guys started out, which I believe was back in 1992, that you started this mission.
Yes. Don't quote me on like the founding too much, because I only been here since 2015. But yeah, no, that was some of the bigger missions that they were kind of starting on. And I think we actually started at a farmer's market first, and then developed into these other different programs like the Farm to School program, the Healthy Corner Store Initiative, HFFI, which is the acronym for it's like healthy. Don't even quote me on it. It is, but basically it's a grant to give to grocery stores or farmers markets to help for them to buy an equipment to increase healthy food access. And then, a little bit of our consulting business that we kind of do of just, going out into the rest of the United States and telling people the work that we've done here and how they can do it there. It's been cool. Again, I've only been to a part of like a little bit of a quarter, not even a quarter, less than a quarter of the food trust, like being here.
And I mean, but that's important though, because going into schools, which I know is one of the big things that you guys do, you go into schools and you teach the kids, teach the teachers and parents how, the value of not only just eating nutritional foods, but also how to make said foods, and the benefits from it. Because when you're ingesting things that are healthier for you, it increases your chances of having a better life.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's a small bit of a different program that I'm not on, but I work with that team like hand in hand, because when we have a farmers market in a neighborhood that's kind of a food desert, there are also all these schools that are around, right, that function sometimes in the summer, sometimes not. And so what we try to do is partner with schools, with the farmer that's in that particular neighborhood, and send the farmer to the school and either like do like a pop-up food stand, or for him to do kind of lessons, so that they get to know their local farmer and understanding the food is like where the food is actually coming from. I was actually on a call this morning where we were talking about that, where a lot of times, and not it's not okay, but this is kind of what happens, is that people don't often know where the food comes from. They think you don't know what they probably think, but they're going to the grocery store, gathering it, but not necessarily making the connection from like the ground to the grocery store to their dinner table. And one of the things we try to do is like make sure folks get to meet the people who are doing some of this direct work, and helping them understand like you can be doing this in your backyard. It's as easy as getting a plot of dirt and planting some seeds. And then not even just that, with kids who are very interested in anything, because they're very new to the world, trying to make sure that they understand, like, is a new thing for them to learn. And sometimes like that travels over. It's like once you get the child interested in, their healthy eating, they, unwillingly just pass it on to the parent.
Yeah.
And the parent's like, oh, like this was kind of cool. Like you seem kind of interested into it. Let's go to that farmer's market. It's a thing to do for the day. And you to see, your new farmer, Farmer Hank, at Fourth and Lehigh. And you're like, oh, like I've seen Farmer Hank at my school, like, and, fostering that connection and, having the kids understand like, oh, Farmer Hank brought this from Bucks County, and Farmer Hank has a farm that, he grows a lot of garlic on. Just trying to, pin some of these details down on people so, they get it. They understand, where some of this food is coming from and, how it gets from the dirt to the dinner table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I know that you're using Hank as like a fill in the blank for the for the farm, but I was wondering, are there specific farmers that you work with that you might be privy to? Because I know that there's different sections under the food shelter, or sorry, the food trust. I know that there's different programs, there's different sections of what people do who, work with the organization. But do you know some of the farms that you guys work with specifically who come into the market?
Yes. No, just about all of them. So, and actually Hank is one of our farmers. And
Oh.
yeah. I didn't go through the list of the seasonal markets that we have, but so anywhere between May to November, we host 6 seasonal markets that are open. And so Farmer Hank, Hank's last name is Wittenberg. Hank has a farm, and his farm is Heyday Farms, and you catch Hank at 4th and Lehigh, but you can also catch him at our Head House Market on Sunday. 4th and Lehigh is on Tuesdays between 11 and 3. We have another farmer at Castor and Hellerman. His name is Ray from Drums Produce. He comes out of School County, right? It is School. Yep, School County. And that's another, that's a Wednesday market in the Northeast, and that goes from 11 to 3. We have Root Bass, which is Lindsay and Landon. I don't know their last names, but their farm is Root Bass, and they're at Frankfurt Transportation Market every Tuesday from 2 to 6. Hank 4th and Lehigh, FTC Tuesday, Castor and Hellerman. We have 2 farmers at Overbrook. It's really Overbrook Farms, and it's at the church, which is Overbrook Presbyterian, on Saturdays. And that's Walnut Springs and Homestead. Walnut Springs is Joseph Christoffel. Homestead is the Ron Weavers. I say Ron Weavers because their whole family last name. Well, the cool thing about Overbrook, real quick, and if I can just go into like our markets, we have these 2 farmers. One's name is Weaver, and one's name is Christoffel. Joe's family, all his kids' name starts with a J. And Ron's family, all their kids' name starts with an R.
Okay.
And it's so funny. They're cool, the coolest people.
So they're all like RW or RJ. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. So like Jenny, Jane, Joseph, Joe Jr., Joel, like all those
you
names.
really do know them.
Yes. We have,
that was like a loaded question then.
Yes.
But let's bring it back to the nutritional value, because I want to mention, obviously when you're going to a farmer's market and you're picking out the fresh produce, the more vibrant the color, like the deeper of the greens have more nutritional value inside. Like that's why, like your spinach leaves have far more nutritional value than say butter lettuce. And I'm sure that you guys incorporate with all the farmers, like I'm sure that they bring a whole gamut of selection of nutritionally balanced produce, and obviously like you have I think you said 4 year-round farmers markets.
Mm-hmm.
And the seasonal ones. When are you running the seasonal ones till? Like when is the end date for the seasonal farmers markets?
So they start to end last week of September to the last 2 markets end the week before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So our 2 Saturday markets, which is Overbrook and Hunting Park, they will probably go all the way up until the end of Thanksgiving. And that's another thing that's sometimes based on the farmer, right? You know, depending on the season that they're having and if they have enough products or, you know, produce, like their harvest can be affected by the weather, right? And like, and I can give you this one example. Ray at Drum's Produce had a drought, and this is like a little bit center Pennsylvania. And so because he had a drought, he wasn't able to, like, he had to go to September and not necessarily all the way up until the weekend before Thanksgiving, which he would have liked to. But yeah, those are usually kind of like the closing times, anywhere between that time of closing the markets. They start, they can also start anywhere between the last weekend of May to the mid-July. A lot of this is based on like the harvesting and like also, you know, some of the currencies as well. I said the FMNP checks, and that's one of the things, if you talk to a lot of Pennsylvania farmers, which is that the FMNP checks are like wildfires, right? And so, oh, you want me to stop?
I was gonna say,
Okay.
unfortunately, we ran out of time, so I do have to close you up and let you let our listeners know where to find the food trust. I keep saying the food trust. Or yeah, it is the food trust. Let our listeners know where to find the food trust and more information based on that.
Gotcha. So if you went to thefoodtrust.org, that's where you'll get a list of all our farmers markets. Another great site to find any farmers market around. There are 29 farmers markets throughout the summer that are running around. And that's phila.gov/farmers markets. And those are all the greatest places to find, like, you know, what's going on as far as like farmers markets, or even nutrition education. If you're interested in knowing, like, if your school kind of has nutrition education, either sponsored by us or maybe the city of Philadelphia.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Food Farms and Chefs.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And we will be right back next week with a brand new episode, but tune in and find us on WWDB and WPAN.